Okay then, shorty, you bringing the juice and you ain't even step on the field yet. Marshon Lattimore is set to make his Commanders debut, and he ain't wasting no time letting reporters know he got revenge on his mind. Let's talk about it.
Off field? Left. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rockin' it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about Marshon Lattimore sounding off on his former team. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you help me reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight to it. So, Marshon Lattimore finally about to make his Commanders debut. Isn't it crazy? We traded for Marshon Lattimore November 5th, and it's been a month and a week since we had that happen, and he still hasn't played. It's like, dang, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a long time coming because we know deep down inside we need Marshon Lattimore. If he is as advertised, this team gets much more scarier. I understand Marshon Lattimore's impact, and I know what he can bring if he's, again, as advertised. So with him finally getting the go, with him finally working his way back to health, he has got the green light, and he stepped in front of the media and podium today and said this. Listen up.
Of course, I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't, you know. 'Cause, you know, it's like they traded me away, and, you know, I'm going back to show them, you know, why they shouldn't have. You know, I'm happy where I'm at, but you know how it be, you know. Extra motivation for the game, that's all.
We're just pumped to have him back, and you could feel him being back on the field, being with his guys. I imagine it was difficult to come into a new environment and then not even get to express the way you do things by the way you play and practice. So there was a silver lining of the learning the system that took place. He got to connect with his teammates, but it has been awesome.
So you heard not only from Marshon Lattimore himself, you also heard from head coach Dan Quinn. And DQ's right. I'm sure it hurts him the most because he didn't get to make an immediate impact. He literally had to sit out a month in the season to rejoice with his new team and actually contribute to his new team. But again, God makes no mistakes, and he's coming in at the perfect time because the Washington Commanders are in the thick of an NFC playoff race. So we desperately need him and definitely need him. I understand Marshon Lattimore's standpoint 100%, where he has a little bit of vengeance on his mind. I also understand the Saints' standpoint. They know that they're not a good team. They know that they're in cap misery. And unfortunately, when you're in those positions, you have to give away some of your best players. Some of the worst teams that have really good players are having to get rid of some of their best players. Because due to, either cap situation or wanting to rebuild draft picks, whatever, to get your franchise back relevant. It sucks. We know that all too well. We have to get rid of the pieces that we want to keep just so we can get better. And that's what they had to do. Marshon Lattimore, on the other hand, he's like, man, this is the city that brought me in. This is the city I gave my all to, and I'm more than certain he would have loved to remain the Saint for the remainder of his career. Now, obviously, as he mentioned, he's not upset about the trade, and I wouldn't either. Like I'm leaving an organization that is not necessarily headed anywhere this season to an organization that potentially could be somewhere, and I could be a part of that reason. So I understand both sides, Saints and Marshon Lattimore's side, both. I will say this though, the script writers definitely didn't make no mistakes by making his debut this week versus the Saints, and I'm not gonna guarantee it. I'm not going to expect it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Marshon Lattimore found a way to get his hands on a football and get an interception. You know why I feel as though it may be a little bit challenging? Because I know a lot of people assume with Jake Hayner starting that we're going to be able to turn the ball over and force him into some errant throws, which may remain true. But considering the fact that they have a really good running back, Allen Kamara, in the backfield, they're probably not going to throw the ball much. So it may not be many opportunities for Sean to get his hands on the football, especially with even still, even if they throw the ball, they're probably going to try to target the opposite side of the field and Mike Sanders still, no Iganogany, and all those guys. They're going to stay away from Marshon Lattimore again. They're going to make an assertive effort to not throw his way. But in that being said, even if Marshon Lattimore doesn't show up on the stat sheet necessarily, he's doing exactly what we need him to do. Like, I would love for Lattimore to come in 3-4 picks. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's not realistic because only 4 games left, but like I would love for him to have, a stat sheet where it's filled up with numbers. However, a cornerback job is to take away their best target or take away one side of the field. If he literally comes in and does that, we're Gucci. Like, that's what we need. That's what we've been struggling at all season long. We haven't had a true number one cornerback to go against another team's one. We've been posing with Benjamin St. Juste and Mike Sanders still and Noah the whole season. Michael Davis and Emmanuel Forbes before he got cut and signed by the Rams. Like, we now have a legitimate guy out there that can hold his own, that we can have facing AJ Brown and Drake London and CeeDee Lamb if he plays. So hey man, I'm excited. Marshon Lattimore is excited for this opportunity. I can't wait to see what he looks like out there sporting that 23. And again, having it be against your former team, like, you cannot write no story that much better. And I'm all for this process, right? I'm all for not rushing him back. You know what, I kind of got flashbacks to when a lot of people were getting upset that he wasn't playing or they were starting to panic. Curtis Samuel, remember the last regime, we got Curtis Samuel. We were so eager to get him out there. We kind of ruined him that season. We didn't allow him to fully heal and come back at his pace. And Ron Rivera kept rushing him back out there, and ultimately did not work for the Washington Commanders that season. So being cautious, waiting for the perfect opportunity for Marshon Lattimore to be unleashed, and it just so happens to be with 4 games left and his debut against his former team. I would really love to see the Saints at full health because I would want to know how we would necessarily fare against Derek Carr and Chris Olave and all these guys that are healthy for them. Taysom Hill. But hey, you ain't gonna never get me complaining about a banged up team. I will take full advantage of it because when we're banged up, no one wants to hear our excuses, right? When we was banged up against Philly and coming in on a short week, oh, no excuses. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that, blah, blah, blah. All right. So when we destroy the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, which we're going to do, I'm fully expecting it to happen, don't say nothing. Jake Hanner, sorry for you. I'm not sorry. You're about to get killed. Okay, Jaden Daniels probably gonna have another legendary day if he's protected well, staying healthy. He's gonna have a big day. I can already see it. It's a big game. Like, outside of just Marshon Lattimore being the headline as a debut, it is a humongous game, and we're gonna talk more about this later. Washington has the opportunity to be in the 6th seed by Sunday night. If Washington can take care of business in New Orleans in the Caesar Superdome, which I have no doubts in my mind, we're then full-blown Seattle Seahawks fans. Geno Smith, Jackson Smith the Jigba, what's up? Come on. Because if we move to 9-5, and then later that matchup Sunday Night Football, Packers and Seahawks, if Seattle finds a way to win, which please, we move into the 6th seed. And in my opinion, that drastically changes the impact that our postseason route could have. Because although I'm not expecting it, and although I'm not guaranteeing it or I believe we're ready necessarily. There's a path, contrary to popular belief. The Washington Commanders can make the NFC Championship. Again, don't misconstrue my words. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that we will make the NFC Championship, but I'm just saying there's a path. Okay, we're not a number 7 seed that's backdooring their way into the playoffs, and you can just say, yeah, they're out first round. Like we're not that. Okay, we're a legitimate team that has got a legitimate playoff berth, and we have ways that we can carve out NFC Championship appearance. And I think that's our max this year. If we did achieve the NFC Championship, I think that's our max. I don't think we win it. I don't think we go to the Super Bowl this season if we do get to the NFC Championship. But my way of looking at it, and this all could change, especially depending on if Seattle loses. But if Seattle wins, let's go with Washington wins, Seattle winning on Sunday. You got Washington moving into that 6th seed. And at that point, all we got to do is keep winning. Because at that point, Green Bay, we have the better conference record than Green Bay. All we got to do is keep winning because we have, 3 more conference games or 2 because you count the Saints one. You got you already counted the Saints one as a victory. So then we will have the Falcons and we will have the Cowboys left. And the Eagles. So actually now I think about it, all 4 of our games left on the season are conference games. So that being said, if we somehow got to that 6th seed yesterday, we would be tied with the Packers, but obviously we would have the edge because of the conference record. And you look at our schedule coming up, all we got to do is worry about winning at that point. And because we could finish with the same record as Green Bay, but given the fact that we have a better conference record and could potentially finish with a better conference record than with our 4 games left being on the season conference games in the NFC, we would be in good hands. And if we get that 6th seed, I'm looking at that 3 seed like food. Seattle, I think we can beat them. LA, very good team. They're turning it on. I'm definitely a little bit nervous playing them. But I think we can beat them. And then after that, I think we meet up with Philly in the NFC divisional round, and I think we beat Philly. And then I think we lose to the Lions in the NFC Championship. I think that's the path that Washington could have. Now, if we get to the 7th seed, I don't. If we stay at the 7th seed, I don't know if we necessarily beat Philly round 1. I feel like the way we beat Philly is having the momentum of the wild card victory in round 1. Getting to having that 6th seed, beating the 3 seed. Let's just say Seahawks for this example. Then you go on the road to Philly and you beat them, and then your all roads come to a crashing halt versus the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship, which, in my opinion, is the route that I could see happen, and that's why I keep telling people, that is a possible scenario. Right, I understand 1 game at a time. We still got 4 games left in the regular season, but I'm just looking. I can't help myself but look ahead because we're in the thick of it. Like in years past, we will be in the thick of it, but you will always be reminded, hey, you got Taylor Heineke, bro. You got Ron Rivera, bro. You're not going nowhere. But this time, it feels legit and it feels an opportunity for it to happen. And the biggest reason why I feel confident to say that we can make the NFC Championship is because of the conference. There's not a team in this conference besides Detroit that I don't think we can beat. Let's just say, for an example, that we have to match up with every other team. Okay, I'm going to name off every other team and why I feel like we can win right quickly. Philly, that's a divisional game. We played them tough already when we was banged up. Anything can happen. Round 3, stuff like that. That's Philly, and they're not that good in my opinion. Right? You look at Green Bay. I'm not the biggest believer in Green Bay. I don't know what it is. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team, but I think we're able to outscore them. I think they have a really good run game in Josh Jacobs. I think Jordan Love is an amazing talent. I like their defense. But I think we can go into Lambeau. Or they actually, if that was the case, in the scenario I'm talking about, the 7th seed, they would probably have to come to us. So I think we could beat the Packers at home. But just for an example, I say we could beat the Packers, just because I think we match up very well with them, with Marshon Lattimore in the lineup. Jalen Reed scares me. I'm not really big feared of Romeo Dobbs and, for that matter, Christian Watson. It's really that run game with Josh Jacobs. I like Tucker Craft, but that defense is really solid. and they're a good football team. Not saying they're not at all, but I think they're beatable. Um, you look at, let's just go with Minnesota. I looked at Minnesota's schedule. They're very good, but they're now going to be battle tested in the playoffs. Most of their wins, I think only 2 wins comes in cold climate, somewhat cold climate. They're going to have to go on the road to Philly. They're going to have to go on the road to potentially Seattle, right? To these colder places. Are they really battle tested for that? Is Sam Darnold ready to? Is he battle tested for that? Is this Sam Darnold's playoff debut? I could be wrong about that, but would this be his playoff debut? Is Sam Darnold really built for the moment? They have a lot of questions there, right? I understand Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, very very good duo, and I know that team is very good. Brian Flores' defense is amazing. Not saying we're going to win these games. I'm just mapping out ways that I believe Washington could win them. I don't see Minnesota making it all the way to the NFC Championship or Super Bowl for that matter, having to go through play outdoors. I don't know if they're battle tested and ready to play outdoors. That's just me. I know y'all probably want, what are you talking about? But like that's true. Climate plays a factor. Look at a team like Miami, right? Going to Green Bay. Minnesota, I don't even know if Minnesota beats Green Bay and Green Bay during those times. Now I know they probably already beat them this season, obviously, but that was early on in the season when it was still warm. Minnesota going to Green Bay, January, snow, cold. I think Green Bay wins that game, right? So who else is left? I don't think we're beating Detroit. I think we could beat Seattle. I think we're a better team and have a better quarterback than Seattle. I think we could beat the Vikings. I think we could beat the Packers. And am I missing 2 teams? I'm missing so we did the Lions, the Eagles, Seahawks, and then who's the 4th seed right now? I can't even think off the top of my head who the 4th seed may be at this moment. Let me actually look it up. I know the Lions are the 1, the Eagles are the 2. The 3 seed is the 4 seed is gonna be the South, one of the NFC South. That's gonna be the Falcons or the Bucks, and I mean they're backdooring their way into the playoffs, and we owe the Bucks one, right? We owe the Bucks one. So if they get that playoff berth, they don't fear me at all. We can beat the Bucks. We could beat the Falcons. We play the Falcons coming up here shortly. Then the 5th seed again, the Vikings. They're a good team, very good team, but I want to see how they play on the road. In a climate where they can't control. I want to see how the Packers really fare with having a good run last year in the postseason. They're a very good team. Not taking no credit away from them, but we're going to get a good look at them on Sunday Night Football against Seattle, right? And then, obviously, you have the 6th seed, us, and then the 7th seed will be the Packers. So, more of the story, y'all. Again, sorry for rambling on. I'm not guaranteeing an NFC playoff berth. I'm not saying none of these teams that I just talked about can't beat us, because they can. They're very good. Minnesota, very good. Green Bay, very good. Only team I really look at with a side eye is probably Atlanta, because they're not that good with Kirk Cousins at the helm. Tampa Bay could be dangerous, especially come playoff time, but I think we can handle them. Every team outside of Detroit, I think we're capable of beating, and I could see a way we make the NFC Championship. But again, we'll talk about that later. This was really about Marshon Lattimore making his debut and how he boosts this team's ability to perform at the next level and take us to potentially the next level. It's going to be exciting to see how he looks tomorrow versus the New Orleans Saints, his former team, and for the rest of the season and hopefully into the postseason. But alrighty, y'all. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Enjoy your Saturday and enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there. See y'all later. Well, peace.